Well, it has been a rough start to the year for mega cap tech. Magnificent Seven coming off its second month in a row of underperformance versus the broader market. Meta, though, has been the one name that's been holding on to significant gains since the start of the year. I still have it up as much as 14+%. Our next guest says or points to one stock in the group as a safe haven. Joining us now is Melius research analyst Ben Reitzes. All right, Ben, let's start there. What stock is sort of a, quote, safe haven amongst many of these names?
I think Apple is in the Mag 7. You mentioned Meta, but the companies that benefit from lower cost to compute because of the DeepSeek innovations and other models like Apple benefit. And what we think is going to have is more AI use is also going to lead to more use on the edge and prompt you to upgrade iPhones. Obviously, we got to worry about tariffs, though, and Tim Cook's done a pretty good job navigating, and we'll have to see how that goes.
We will have to see that. We're waiting on China. We'll see if there are any exemptions, for example. But, you know, others would point to a fairly high multiple on Apple versus historical multiple. And, yes, they're not spending capex anywhere near like the hyperscalers. But at the same time, their AI tools don't seem to have been embraced, perhaps, by consumers as yet.
Well, I think that it's iterative and they're getting better and better, but I also think they did the right thing by not investing because in China, which is 20% of sales, they can't use their own AI, so they got a partner. So they're doing the right thing and they're going to partner there. Actually, I think that's one of the things helping the stock stay stable is that there's anticipation they'll get on the right side of AI in China. But for the most part, I think that they have this pricing lever into an upgrade cycle where they're going to mix shift us up into new models. And I think that that'll help. And it'll be iterative with AI. And a lot of people aren't using AI as much on their phones as unless they're using the app and a ChatGPT. So I don't think they're missing out as much as some people think.
Right. Although, why wouldn't I just use my ChatGPT app? Why do I even have to avail myself of whatever the services that Apple's going to eventually make available to me?
Well, they're also going to have it better integrated over time. But, yeah, that's why the iPhone's so great. You have an app for everything you need. And if you start to like somebody else's app, you start using that one. Like Grok 3 is a pretty darn good one, too.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on with Microsoft? And especially, you know, some of the comments that Satya Nadella has made about overdoing it on AI. I mean, you have a buy on this stock still, right?
Yes. It hasn't been too good lately.
$520 price target, which is we're kind of far away from that.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are.
What's going on?
It's not worked. The issue there is they've been on the edges missing Azure. They restated the segment, and then on the edges they have missed some of the numbers and commitments. They have very little, though. Very little, but it's enough that it bothers investors. As Azure goes, so does Microsoft. And but
also some questions around data center demand, too, right? There's some noise.
Well, look, Microsoft has an interesting dilemma in that if they spend too much, they have a high depreciation expense and they may miss street numbers. They also are trying to manage their cash flow. They are in a dilemma right now where they got to spend a lot of money. And also what's bothering the stock is that their breakup, quote unquote, from OpenAI. A lot of investors are worried that they're breaking up, they're diverging. What does that mean? That's created a negative cloud over the stock. I think if we can get past that, which I'm not sure we can, that would obviously be good. I think Stargate's actually going to give IBM some revenue. Microsoft some revenue, but the big winner there is going to be Oracle. And Oracle is going to get the lion's share of that cloud revenue. But Microsoft should get some. I think Microsoft really needs to turn the corner in the personal computing and Azure in order to get the stock going. Might take a few more quarters.
So in general, on Mag 7, do you think the market or the street is acting like a bond vigilante on capex, where they'll start demanding less capex over time?
I think if they don't beat numbers, I think the street looks through the weak free cash flow as long as they're accelerating revenues. It's rarefied air to have this size and mid-teens growth in revenue. People like that. But if you don't hit it or you're not have upside, people are going to lose patience and want to ask you, where's the rate of return? The ROI on AI investments, not only it goes to you and I and our enterprises, but also for those companies. And if they're not beating and raising, then there's going to be less tolerance for it.
Yeah, and which leads us quickly here to Nvidia, which is down almost 5% again. What do you attribute its recent weakness to, Ben?
Well, there was a lot of noise over the weekend about CoWoS, which is their packaging technology for the new Blackwell, being cut by Nvidia. I actually think it's noise. I actually think that they're continuing to make progress there that may actually even help margins by the second half. But the noise over the weekend was a fever pitch, and that could be impacting the stock. There's also just a broader sell-off in semis and a negative halo over it due to the administration, worries over bans of chips, worries over more tariffs, worries over China retaliating, worries over the AI diffusion rule that Biden put into place being kept. And that rule bothers me probably the most of all of them. And so until all those are lifted, semis is going to be tough. The AI semi is going to be tough. But hopefully President Trump, sees that we need the stock market to work, and we need to be a leader in AI semis and get this going again.
Yeah, we'll see. But I know we'll have plenty of time to talk to you about it as well along the way. Appreciate today. Thanks, Ben.
Hey, thanks, guys. Always a pleasure.